It's with the color.
Oh yeah.
Several students right now, just making busy trying to get ready for that. Next Friday. That's very we'll be at the Dallas ship.
Okay, I was so
It's gonna happen.
You worked before school. Well, I was in there like,
I'm sorry. I didn't see. I know.
it looks great.
I finished it. I got it shoes.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Can you go down and collect the phones in the box? I'm sorry. Yeah, I brought heels. These are just my walking shoes, but
Yeah. Thanks, Claire.
You did? Yeah.
That's why.
come on, Peter.
I'll do it.
Well, you got that packet on the beer.
It's still yours. You're so
Welcome back. I think the new person's going to
Yeah,
Had to wait some notes to print on the back.
The camera's up there, I have no idea.
We don't want to know what crazy.
I was there.
I call this meeting to order at 11 p.m. If there are no objections, we will approve the minutes from the last meeting last semester. Okay. If there are no objections, we will move into new business. Is there any new business? Vice President Riggins.
Okay, I move that we appoint the following students to SGA. Jennifer Pale, freshman class representative. Ashlyn Sander, freshman class representative. Zachary Waitsman, sophomore class representative. Martin Grider, junior class representative. Hannah Slager, junior class representative. Hassani Mason, senior class representative. Maria Gomez, senior class representative. Dylan Vick, non-traditional representative. And Cagney Kilgrove, College of Liberal Arts representative.
Second.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded that we appoint the following students to SGA. The whole list Harley Jo just read off. I don't want to read it. Okay, we will move into discussion. Ready?
Appointments met and selected all of them, and they stood great.
Any other discussion? Okay, we will move into a roll call vote. Are there any objections? No? Okay. Welcome. Have a seat. Okay. Yay. Welcome, guys. We're excited to have you. Okay. Are there any students here for open forum? Okay. Please take the floor.
Okay. All right, my name is Jacob Holland, and I'm a sophomore here at UCA. The major problem that I'm hearing around campus concerns the recent taking away of our polling place here on campus for our students. That's the major reason that I'm here. I'm involved in many different organizations on campus, and I've heard concerns from every single one of these organizations, whether it's the debate team, Young Democrats, College Republicans, the Young Americans for Liberty. A lot of these organizations have dedicated a lot of time to getting a lot of students on our campus registered to vote. And in doing so, a lot of these students chose to vote in this county rather than their county back home, thinking that they would be able to use their address here to vote. But many of them do not have access to going to another polling place. We had a very centralized location for UCA for students to use. This is going to limit voter accessibility for our students here on campus. It's a major concern. It's also a pivotal point in their civic duty, all right? This is going to be the first time that many of them will ever get to vote. And with a limit of accessibility, that's going to create apathy among these students. So if we don't have that polling place here, a lot of them aren't going to want to try to find a way to go to another polling place. And Also, there's a midterm approaching, as a lot of us know. So a lot of these students do want to vote in this midterm. They can't do that now. A lot of them on our campus do not have access to a car. They do not have access to ways to get to other polling places. And once again, the big point that I really want to drive home with all of you today is there are so many organizations on campus that spark Student Political Action Committee, College of Young Republicans, the Young Americans for Liberty, Young Democrats. They worked so hard to get so many students excited about voting this year and get so many students registered to vote, and those students thought they would be able to vote here at UCA. So they used this county rather than another one. And so basically my concern is just going to see if SGA can help do something about this.
Yeah, okay, so first of all, thank you guys so much for coming and for taking the time out of your day to come voice your concerns. I have been in contact with President Davis about this, so last week I called him, and Ronnie Williams, our Vice President of Student Services, along with Jimmy Bryant, he is our university historian, they are currently gathering data and will be in contact to see if we can get a reconsideration or something of that sort. So I just want to let you know that that is in the works. From SGA, there are a few senators who are working on a resolution, and so Spencer Burton, Senator Burton, is kind of spearheading that. So I would recommend to you for you guys to get in contact and to kind of work together and see what information would be helpful to include in that resolution. So if you have any other questions, of course, feel free to reach out to any of us, but Spencer Burton will be more than happy, I hope. I'm sure he would, but yeah, do you want to
comment? Yeah.
Yes.
So for any of you in the room that are confused, last Monday, the Faulkner County Election Commission voted 2-3 to remove UCA and several other places in the county as polling places. So places where you and I could go to vote in the midterm or general election, citing lack of manpower and equipment. So this is the concern that has been raised by Jacob and Riley and several other of our senators. It's spread out throughout the entire community, and we are working on a resolution to do something about it, whether or not that comes about. But yes, we're collecting data to try to show numbers. Primarily, I'd like the statistic to see there's been 4 or 5 elections since UCA has been a polling place in 2012, but also there's an article citing in 2004 where UCA was a polling place. So there's been several elections where UCA has been a polling place. I'd like to get in touch with the commission to see how many students have been able to vote, students, faculty, staff, to vote on UCA's campus, because removing that is a major accessibility barrier to voting in general, and that's our civic duty, right? That's what you're taught at this university, to be civic and so.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay. Are there any other students here for open forum? Yes.
Hi, I'm Riley Tribble. I'm a junior history major, and I'm here to echo many of the same sentiments that Jacob also let out. And I'd first of all like to say I'm happy and relieved to hear that Senator Burton, President Davis, and so many others are working to address the issue of the closure of UCA's polling place. But I would like to pose the question of, presuming that we don't get that polling place back, are there any discussions on alternatives, like getting people to the polls? Because like so many people on campus don't have cars. So are there any talks in the works of trying to get them to polling places, or?
Sure. Yeah. Riley, thanks for the question. Currently, right now, of course, we can have that discussion because we don't know the final decision after Vice President Williams is trying to get the polling place back. Yes. Ask your question one more time. I definitely blanked.
That's all good. Are there other alternatives to get, assuming the polling place we don't get it back, are there alternatives on the table?
Right. So from my information provided by Senator Teeter, the closest polling place that we would have as UCA would be Conway 1C, which is with the athletic center. It's about a mile away from campus, so a 50 minutes to an hour walk or a 20 to 30 minute bike ride. And most students are going to be incredibly disincentivized to vote because that's their nearest polling station, right? And so faculty and staff, they typically have cars. I'm not going to make the broad sweeping generalization. They might not be affected as much, and they've been voting for quite much longer than we have. But if you're going to take, if this is clearly going to take away the ability for students to vote, and many students who have not yet voted that have an interest in voting. So that's, we can talk about maybe having a shuttle if for some reason we don't get the polling place back. But, so, and we're open to ideas.
Yeah, thank you for that question. That's great. Again, thank you so much for coming and voicing your concerns. And again, if either of you have any additional comments, feel free to email me in my card. All 4 of our cards are out there on the front desk. So, thank you. Are there any other students here for open board? Okay, we will move into presenters. If there are no objections, I will suspend the rules for 10 minutes to allow Vice President Riggins to make a quick short presentation.
Okay, so standing over here are 2 of our new office workers. Wanted you guys to meet them. We have Logan Redding and Allie Cheek. So if you're in the office, these are some new faces that you might see. And you might recognize the last name Redding as former Senator Redding's younger brother. So we lost one Redding and we picked up a new one. Thanks for being here. Yay. How long have you been waiting to say? Oh, wow. Okay, we will move into our next presenter, Mr. Mike Boyd. He is the interim Chief Information Officer for UCA, so he is new to campus. And so if there are no objections, I will suspend the rules for 10 minutes to allow him to present. Okay, floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Wow, this is going to go bad. Well, thanks a lot for allowing me to come speak for a few minutes. So I'm in week 3, I guess. I've gone through 3 weeks of introductions. I've met everyone in our IST staff. I've met about at least 40 to 45 others on campus, different one-on-one sessions. Just drinking it all in, learning as much as I can about the current state of technology at UCA, what's going well, and most importantly, what's not, what's broken. The good news was we never have any wireless issues. I was so relieved to hear that. It's a joke. So we have a lot of wireless issues. And so I'm digging into all of those. And what I'm finding through all my interviews and discussions is we have there's 3 big focus areas of things that need to be reviewed and all work on. People culture is kind of a big focus area part. There's some process things that are broken, communication mainly between the top ones there. And then there's technology. So there's spending money on things like upgrading our network and improving our wireless experience and so forth. And so I'm getting all that lined out and writing a transformation plan and agenda that, of course, I'll take to the executive staff and work with all of the stakeholders. You all represent one of the most important stakeholders in the university, our students. So you're the voice for our students, and I'll look to this group to be a really strong source of information and feedback and get into a good, bi-directional communication regularly. So for Sheila, if I'm strong on it, maybe she'll let me come back again when I have more to report out on our plan, how we're going to get it funded, investments and things of that nature. By kind of getting started, I think we just spent a significant amount of time with for Sheila and get a preliminary, I think a lot of you may contribute to that data point around things that you would like to see improved. I mean, obviously, stable wireless is at the top of the list. And just so you know, if any of you or if you're talking to students on campus, we are putting in a temporary UCA wireless tonight to deal with the registration issue that we've had over the past couple of days. If you were on campus for Fairfax Day, Saturday, we did the same thing all day for Fairfax Day. So, heaven forbid, prospective students to get on wireless while they're on our campus for that day. But we're going to put that in place tonight for the campus until we get our permanent fix in for that. So, if you are asked that question, you've got to wait. By the time you get out of the meeting, hopefully that'll be fine. You know, other things like, you know, the stability of your computer lab when you're taking tests and finals and things of that nature. Having the, you know, I've heard one story of a student that spent 2 hours on a final, and not before it was over, they lost their data and had to start over. I was breaking the tears if that happened to me. So, you know, those are some of the things that I'll be looking into to see what we can fix. I can tell you a lot of it has to do with building good failover capability and redundant systems. Like, take our current internet issue. Right, things break. A controller broke, you know, on a CDM here. That's going to happen. What wasn't in place was a backup and failover capability. So one of the things I'm going to be working on is building out systems like that, so when something does break, you know, you won't see it. You know, it won't impact you because you community have a good experience. And so there's a lot of that, you know, in place. So that's a lot of what we're doing. The other is just in terms of our support, and whether it be the help desk and interact with them or anyone on the IT staff, really upping the game on customer service attitude and responsiveness. So actually, Charlotte Strickland had the opportunity to teach a good bunch of our guys just the other day on some CRM, customer relationship management, kind of one-on-one, how we call it, and so that went well. And we're going to partner on part 2, part 3, so that everyone, staff, faculty, students, of course, has a good experience with our group. So that's what I'm up to, and I promised you I wouldn't go as long as I did before President's meeting, so I'll cut it short and take questions and comments or anything like that.
Senator Peter?
Okay, so in our,
Yeah, sorry, no, you're good.
in our dorms, we're not allowed to have wireless printers.
Yes.
And when we did the IT review, they told us that was, they didn't understand why we couldn't have, with our old system still, you know, they said they didn't know why we couldn't have wireless printers. So what's your take on all that?
Well, so yes, and I should have mentioned that in some of the remarks. You know, we've got this list of restricted devices. And so one of the things I'm doing now is benchmarking the universities to look at their restricted devices and making sure that it's current and updated as a legitimate reason. So for example, Chromecast is a good example. It creates an ad hoc network. And so that's very disruptive. So if you had that on, you know, the whole building could be disrupted in terms of their service. But you know, other devices on our restricted list aren't restricted in other places. And so I'm doing that review, and you know, we're going to do another walkthrough and determine, hey, if it shouldn't, if it's not something like an ad hoc network, what can we do about it, and you know, hopefully reduce that risk, so we can make have a better experience, more flexibility for students.
Right, thank
So
you.
it's under review.
Thanks, sir.
And I'll report back when we get that going.
Senator Ramirez, did you have your hand up? Senator Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd, for coming to speak to us. Do you have any idea of the monetary capital or human capital investment that's going to be necessary to bring our quality of information technology services up to peer and aspirant universities of our size? If you don't right now, that's okay, because I know you're going to be filling us in later. But
Yeah, so if you kind of take the kind of the manpower part out of the equation, you know, our annual spends $2.7 million-ish. We are, well, let me share this. We did, for our peer review, we had, some of you may have a chance to participate and give feedback, so you're aware of that work. Part of that study, that review, was what we're spending as a university compared to our peer set on technology. And in terms of size of staff and hardware, software, and it was low. I can share with you, it was low compared to our peer group. And so part of the result will be, you know, my job to assess what should we go do next. And I can tell you, early days, hardware refresh is one of the top things on my list. We've got a lot of holes in our network. It's what you see from a user experience when things go bump on the mic, you can't get online, things like that. That's going to be a big one. That's an expensive undertaking. And that's probably a $1.72 million fix to put everything we want in terms of segmentation and things like that in place. We are probably understaffed compared to, and I would say understaffed and or not skilled correctly in some of the technology that we would get that better skill in. So we're looking at all aspects of that. And I would say too that this, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna get everything I asked for. So I'll go to President Davis with a long list and the executive staff. We'll, as a team, we'll have to prioritize. There'll be student priorities, there'll be staff priorities, and faculty priorities that'll come out of that. And it'll be more than a single year project. It'll be a multi-year program to get us where we need to be.
Senator Watkins.
Hi. I don't know much about technology, so bear with me. But it seems like we have like the same reoccurring problem with the wireless and it shutting off. So is it issues that can be fixed in the system, or do we just need a new system in general?
Well, it's kind of yes. Both. There are things that, there's a lot of Band-Aids and bolt-ons right now. So we have, for example, the issue that we had over the last few days, what we're doing right now is a fix, it's a Band-Aid. In order to permanently take that issue off the table, we would have a backup system for our NAC. And that's where you go on and you put in your user ID and the password and you have credentials to get onto the site you go onto, my UCA or what have you. It stores all that information in a database. Well, if that database breaks, then we're out of luck in terms of being able to register new students, visitors, you know, the 470 prospective students we had on campus Saturday. So the right answer is yes, we need to do a temporary fix, but we need to have a backup capability, an entirely different system, so that if it goes down, we stay up and running and accessible. And that's true for a lot of different systems in addition to wireless.
If there are no objections, I'll suspend the rules for 5 more minutes to finish questions. Senator Burton.
One more thing. So we had that IST review, the peer review. One of the things that came up was this discussion of being proactive rather than reactionary in our way we approach IST. So my question is, what steps is IST taking to be proactive rather than reactive? And if I just frame the question in on-campus events, so registering for classes, finals week, the times where wireless and wired internet are in high demand, are there anything that we're doing, we're implementing that hasn't been implemented in the past to kind of alleviate the demand issues and not being able to service people during those high traffic times?
Yeah, so I mean, I think, you know, step one, obviously, I'm at the kind of the end of the assessment phase, so you know, all the feedback that I've been able to glean from peer review, students, faculty, staff, that's kind of gone into my proverbial hopper, if you will. What I'm starting to do this week is actually write out a transformation plan and inventory those kind of key things. But some of the other things you're getting at in terms of proactivity are all about one of the major things that's broken is communication. So foresight and planning. And I mean, honestly, this last week for Fairfax Day, I'm glad I was invited to that because I knew it was happening. Otherwise, it would have been just another day and we wouldn't have wireless Saturday. So, you know, 3 o'clock Friday, we're in scramble mode so that we could have wireless on one of the most important days for admissions on our campus. So it's that kind of bidirectional communication. So from the student group and organizations, as you know, key things are happening on campus events, you know, having that, including IT, so bidirectional, including IT and the knowledge of those events are going on, what the needs and requirements will be for the event, will help us get better at ensuring, you know, technology works. And then obviously going the other way, if in fact you're going to have some kind of big maintenance or outage, reaching out to our key stakeholders well in advance to understand what would be the impact if the wireless were down for the day. Well, for admissions, that's not acceptable on Fairfax Day, so we want to be out in front of the situation.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. Okay. Just a quick little side note. I've met with him a few times already, and he hasn't even been working at UCA for a month. And I hope you guys can see all the progress he's had whenever he came to our board presidents meeting. So for those of you that don't know, I meet with President Davis, the faculty senate president, and the staff senate president every other week. And he spent an hour going into every little detail of things that he's just observed, and it's followed by his action plan. So he's doing some amazing things already, and he's very, very open to student feedback. So if there's anything that you guys ever notice, please don't hesitate to email me or to even email him, because he's very, very receptive and wanting to help students. So, okay, that's all 4 presenters. I will go into my report first. Welcome to all of our new senators. We are so excited to have you here and to have you join our Senate body. So please feel free to reach out to any of us and ask any questions that you may have. And then quick little shout out. We've had 2 huge events happen so far. So Vice President Riggins did all the planning and everything for the mid-year retreat. So round of applause for her. And as you know, we had Jeffrey Buchholz on campus, so we got the Excel sheet. I think we had about 900 students. I think one of the scanners wasn't working. But regardless, it was a huge event. Students were very, very receptive to him. And so thank you to Vice President Bath and the committee for setting all of that up and for spending the whole day with us. And thank you to all of you who attended or helped out with scanning and things like that. So very, very excited to have him on campus and to see kind of the impact that he has. Next, so last semester I had you guys fill out a mid-year survey on Google Forms. I know it's a while back, so some of you may not remember that you did that, but I printed it out and we discussed it during our exec meeting. And so at the beginning of our report, the 4 of us will be sharing some things that we gathered and what we can do to help. So a lot of you mentioned wanting one-on-ones with exec or just getting to know us better and things like that. So I have made it one of my goals to try and get those one-on-ones, especially with some of you new senators and those of you who haven't been to Senate for more than a year. So please be reaching out to me and we can work something out. Dinner, coffee, whatever, even if it's just for 20-30 minutes. I definitely want you guys to feel more included and for you guys to get to know me better as well. So that's one of my goals. And also making sure that committee chairs involve all committee members. And so really ensuring that committee chairs are utilizing everyone in their committees and that all of you feel like you have a part in a project. So those are the 2 things that I gathered from that I can do to help. If there's anything else, certainly let me know. I'm open to any and all feedback. But yeah, okay, poverty simulation. So I talked a little bit about this and I sent out a very lengthy email, I believe, last week. So I hope that all of you got the chance to read that. We are doing a poverty simulation and it's sponsored by the Arkansas Department of Higher Education, and it's kind of a joint effort with our Community Development and Outreach Office. And that will be this Thursday, the 1st, from 5:45 to 8:30. So if you did not get a chance to sign up, there were spots for 80 students and all of them have been filled, which is exciting. But if you did not get a chance, please reach out to me and I can put you on the waiting list. So if you want to attend and want to be kind of in the queue for that, let me know. A lot of professors are offering extra credit and it's just an overall good experience. They had a faculty and staff one in the fall and it was a really, really big hit with them. And so if you're interested in that, let me know and I can get you on the waiting list. Okay, Leadership Summit and Diversity Training. I'm gonna break those down. So our leadership office, located in the basement, does Leadership Summit, and it's just like a day where you get to learn more about leadership, how you can grow in your leadership skills, and all things leadership. So that event will take place February 10th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the McCaslin Ballroom. And as SGA, we will be sponsoring a few senators to attend that event, so it will be free of cost to you. The only thing you have to do is I created a form on our OrgSync page, and you should be able to access it. So if you just go to our org scene page, click on forums, you'll see Leadership Summit, and then it says Senators Only out beside it. Just fill that out, and then we will kind of look over the applications, and we will be announcing who we choose to send to the Leadership Summit on behalf of SGA. And then the second one is a diversity training, and I'll let Ms. Shar touch on it if there's any additional information. But this event is extremely exclusive. So there's only 30 spots, and I don't know how, but Ms. Shar managed to get us up to 2 SGA representatives. And those other spots include people like the mayor and influential community leaders. So very exclusive event, very exciting. We also have an application for that, and it's in the same place as the Leadership Summit one. This event is March 9th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's at UCA downtown. It is an all-day event, so it is during a school day, so kind of look at your schedule, plan accordingly, but we expect you to be there the entire day, of course, because of how exclusive it is, and it's such an exciting opportunity. And there's more information on the form for both of those events. Is there anything you want to add?
We can provide a letter to your faculty to show that you're at this training opportunity. And this is a nationally renowned speaker from Chicago. She's known all over the world. She's from Russia. Her name's Tatiana. I can't say her last name. She's amazing. So we can take care of getting you excused from class.
Yeah. So, and if you are worried about transportation from here to UCA downtown, we can figure something out, even if I have to drive you. So just please let me know if you guys have any questions, and make sure you apply. Both of those forms are going to close this Friday at 11:59 p.m. So we can announce who was selected for both of those events on Senate meeting next Monday. So make sure you guys apply. These are some exciting opportunities, so make sure you take full advantage of them. Okay. Next, 1 Billion Rising event. So Dr. Tane Duncan, she is the director for the Gender Studies program, as well as the faculty Senate president, as well as Dr. I just blanked on her name. Dr. Cindy Lee. She is a professor in the Honors College. They collaborate on this event. It's called 1 Billion Rising, and it's to educate students more about ending violence against women. And so they want this event to be more student-led this year. And so the information is February 13th in Student Center 213. And it's going to be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., but it's kind of like a drop-in type event. But there's going to be different stations. So there's going to be like a video making station. We have one that's going to be called Let's Get Hyped. So if you guys attended Buck Hold's presentation, you know, he talked a lot about like being a hype man and hyping people up and things like that. So that will be one of the stations. Information table on resources for domestic and sexual violence. There will be one showing 1 Billion Rising events. There's a picture station where you can take your pictures on like a Polaroid camera, and then you write what you love about it. I have a scrapbook. Scrapbook making station is also another one. And so there's just a lot of good educational materials that are going to be at this event, and more about how you can get involved and what you can do to help. So I highly recommend that. I think this is the perfect timing following Buck Hold's presentation. So please help me in spreading the word. We want a lot of students to come, especially those who went to his presentation and those who didn't, because this is the perfect chance for students to get involved in things like this and to really improve things on our campus. So there will be like a little bingo card for students to go to all the tables. It'll be a fun event. And so if you want to help more with that event, reach out to me. Again, I have a scrapbook that's in my office if you want to look at it. But I just wanted to put that on your radar. So that is all that I have. Are there any questions? Yes, Senator August.
Yes, about the diversity training, could you tell us a little more ways? I don't understand what race called training, and it lasts only a day. I don't understand what it is. It's just that I know you sent a link. You
The
said
diversity training. Could you that explain?
Yeah, it's entitled Having Difficult Conversations and How to Interact in Difficult Conversations, whether that's a difficult conversation about race, about LGBT issues. So she is a consultant that's going to come in, and it's going to be 30 people divided into small groups, and they're leaders from all over the community. And she's going to give us exercises and instructions on when you're a leader in different populations, here are some tips on how to navigate difficult conversations and give us materials. So it's an all-day thing, 9 to 4, and she's literally going to provide very helpful, practical information. And the goal is for those that are present to go back to their populations and help their populations in handling difficult conversations. So like the police chief's going to be there, the fire chief, the mayor, leaders for nonprofits. So I'm hoping that whatever senators attend will be able to conduct some kind of a training or a short information session to senators on here are some tips on difficult conversations. Does that help?
yes.
And she's very personable, she's very interactive, so it won't be a lecture all day.
Any other questions? Okay, that's the readings. Okay. First, I just want to give a little shout out to our dealers. Hi, thank you, Pages. We're glad to have you. So, new senators, we kind of explained it a little bit in training last night. They're here to bring you motion cards, and if you have little quick notes or something you need passed, but please don't abuse them. We're thankful to have them, and y'all look great. Thanks for being here. Also, one more thing. Senator Ramirez and I had a bit of a moment earlier. If you make eye contact with me and we're doing discussion, I assume that you want me to write your name down to discuss. So I'm very sorry about that. It was like a nod. I'm writing your names down for that in the order that we need to make eye contact. So just don't look at me. That's where we're at right now. Okay. Senior class, please stay after so we can pick a new vice president. Yay, right now we have 6 senior class representatives and no vice president to help out Senator Stock. So, stick around and we'll pick somebody. Next, so we only have 2 spots open on Senate, so we are extending the deadline for College of Ed and a new graduate senator. So if you know anybody who you think would just be so awesome at that, you should personally reach out to them and tell them how amazing they'd be on the Senate. Just look at all these happy faces. We're a big fan. So, reach out to them. Rules and ethics update. There's a new demerit system. It is the same demerit numbers. Instead, now I will email you and let you know that you have a demerit instead of putting it in your box. We're going to save trees, and you'll know immediately, and I'll include the link to appeal on OrgSane. Yeah, that was a suggestion from last semester, but thinking it was right. And also, Rules and Ethics Committee, I'm going to send an email out to you to do like a electronic meeting, since I'm meeting with senior class afterwards. And Valentine's Day cards. So at our mid-year retreat, you guys were lovely enough to fill out Valentine's Day cards that we could take to College Square. I am going next Thursday, February 8th at 5 to deliver them. So you want to come with me, please write your name down. College Square is a senior living facility, retirement assisted living, and it is on the corner of College and Ferris. Is that right? Yeah. That way on campus. Yeah. So if you
point of information, what is the day and time?
Oh yeah, sorry. Again, it is next Thursday, February 8th at 5 p.m. If you want to come, please wear your name tags. We can meet in here in the SGA office. Yeah. So those of you that don't have a way to transport yourselves, that's okay. It's within walking distance, but if everyone meets up here, then we can figure out the car situation.
It is a really quick thing. We're gonna pass it out to them while they're leaving from dinner. So it's like a 15 to 30 minute time commitment. You have the time and the place in your heart to make this happen. I'd love for you to come with us. And then one more thing, if you're interested in my position for next year, please contact me ASAP because something exciting is happening. You could be a part of it.
Any questions for Vice President Riggins? Okay, Vice President Maxey.
Okay. Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say welcome to the new senators, and I kind of gave them, a few of them, sorry, not all of you, a little bit of a heads up, but if you don't mind standing and sharing your name, your major, and why you chose to be on SGA, that'd be awesome. So starting with Zach.
My name is Zachary Waitsman. I'm a sophomore representative, and my major is accounting.
I'm Dylan Pick. I'm a junior. I'm a double major political science and communications.
I'm Jennifer Kale. I'm a pre-med major and I'm a freshman. Hi, my name is Kathy Kildrow. I'm a sophomore political science and public administration major.
That's perfect.
Oh, okay. And I'm for the College of Liberal Arts representative.
My name is Martin Ryder. I'm going for health sciences with a concentration in physical therapy, a minor in military science, and I'm the junior class representative.
My name is Maria Gomez. My major is psychology and my minor is cognitive neuroscience, and I'm a senior class representative.
My name is Sonny Mason. I'm a senior computer science major and the senior class representative.
I'm Ashlyn Sander, and I'm a freshman rep, and I'm pre-pharmacy.
Perfect. And then we are missing Hannah Slater, and she is junior class representative. So let's give them all a hand. We're so excited to have all of you. And then for half of you that were, there were 2 bouts of selections. So the first half, I have your polos ready. The second half, they're still being made. So I'm sorry I don't have the names to list, but if you were elected not Thursday, the time before, please come to my office and I'll give you your polo. Okay, sorry that was so confusing. For Senator Fun Fact, this senator is an aspiring pilot who proudly collects Victorian coins. So the way this works is you guess, and if you get it right, you get a get out of demerit free card. So, any guesses at all?
Senator Ramirez.
Senator Teeter.
No.
Senator Barnes.
Senator Alders?
No.
Okay. Senator Gilbreth.
Senator Slater?
No.
Any guesses?
Good one, right?
Senator Teeter.
Senator Locking.
No.
Any other guesses?
Wow.
Wow, you guys. Senator Barnes.
Senator Burton?
Yes!
No! Wait,
Right there. So look, so I've always wanted to fly airplanes, but I can't because of the medical issue that I have, and I have a very extensive collection of British Victorian era coins.
Now you do, So, Senator Barnes, meet me in my office, I'll get your card. Okay, so as President Lawler mentioned earlier, goals for the position, one of the concerns were it was kind of hard to look through the minutes and pick out important dates. So from here on, important dates and deadlines will be highlighted within the minutes, and then very pertinent dates coming up within the next week or so will be included in the email that the minutes are attached to. So be looking for those. And then my second goal is to revise the end of the year award system that we have, just to make sure that we're really celebrating the hard work that all of our senators are giving. Because I know that day to day, when we only usually recognize one senator each week. Looking forward to that end of the year banquet. It's always really fun, so I want to give out more awards. Yeah. And then for the email list, minutes will be going out, well, probably tomorrow. So if you do not received them, please send me an email. It is ucastudentgov@gmail.com. And so just making sure that I don't miss anyone or I don't have your email entered incorrectly, please let me know if you're not receiving those minutes. And then website photos. I'm in the process of updating all of the new positions on our website. So new senators, if you'll stay behind, I'm going to snap a pic of you. Woo. Okay, that's all.
Any questions for Vice President? Yep. Okay. Vice President Croft?
Alrighty. Also, just so that Meg knows, your blood pressure spiked right as you got up to talk, and your little watch told me that.
Really?
100 beats per minute.
It happens every time.
Okay. Real quick, while Vice President McAfee is pulling up a picture of our my budget report, I'm going to go ahead and make notice of 2 goals that I as well am trying to reach. We all get a lot of emails. Y'all all get a lot of emails, and sometimes we're not very good at responding to them, and I am one of those people. A lot of times, if I get like 15 emails all at once, I'll check the ones that like look important to me, and then the ones that aren't, I'll still read them, but then I'll forget to go back and respond to those. Not that they aren't necessarily important, but I just forget about them in the time, and I'm trying to make sure that I have a set-out system that I go through to make sure that I don't forget to respond to a certain email if I have a lot at one time. So that's something that I am definitely trying to work on. In addition, giving timely notice about some things. I know some of y'all that are on Finance Committee, we meet pretty spur of the moment. I'm trying to figure out a system that might work a little bit better for us. It is pretty difficult given the nature of the topics that we talk about in Finance Committee, but I'm going to really try and work on something so we can make sure that everybody has enough time to make sure that they show up. That being said, budget status report. Okay, so for those who have not been here, which is this area mainly, for a budget status report, these are all of the accounts that my position oversees. So that general ledger up top, for those who, I think Zach said he was an accounting major, that's not an actual general ledger, that's actually just a composite number of all of our account totals. So that 375,000 is roughly where all of our account totals are sitting. So we're sitting in a good position. I know I say that often, but again, we're working pretty hard to make sure that we don't see ourselves going down. I know several years back, SGA finances weren't in a great spot. I'm doing my best to make sure that we're seeing 2 student initiatives, but also not dropping down to a level where we no longer can see to those important student initiatives that need some financial help. So if y'all have any questions at any point about any of these numbers, feel free to let me know, or come ask. I essentially live in the office, so I'm up there all the time. Shoot me an email, etc. So what I will say though is that I think for at least the first time that I can remember, with the upcoming transfer for this semester's fees, which based off an estimate of roughly $150,000, which is when enrollment is low, which it will be a little bit lower than it typically has been. We're hopefully looking at $150,000. That'll actually put us over $500,000 in our collective accounts, which is great, but it also means that, again, we need to be spending that money because, again, we are stewards of that money. We need to make sure that we're not just sitting on, lumps of gold, essentially. So I know at times it seems like we are spending a lot of money and perhaps we're spending it too quickly, but again, I do these reports to let y'all know that we do have strong financial standing, and it is our job to make sure that when we see something out there, that if it requires some financial assistance, we go after that. So feel free at any point to come talk to me if you've got ideas. Oftentimes it's just me and a select few people who are kind of just searching for ideas that we can kind of just throw money at. So really, there's great opportunities for organizations as well as individuals and departments to kind of get some help from SGA. I encourage y'all to bring those ideas my way. That being said, my second point is the Bear Patrol golf cart. So that is a perfect example of us actually seeing something and finding a way for us to financially support that. So Senator Askew, one of the founders of Bear Patrol, actually kind of brought to our attention that the golf carts that Bear Patrol runs off of to pick students up anywhere on campus, is not doing so hot, and we thought that maybe adding another golf cart to that fleet might help alleviate some of the pressure on that one golf cart to do the entire job. So that being said, last semester, for those of you who are new, we actually voted to fund another golf cart, and we're in the process of purchasing that. Hank, one of our advisors over here, is sent out a purchase order so that we can go ahead and begin the process of getting that sucker on campus. So hats off to you, Senator Askew, for making known the issue. So lastly, so President Lalu kind of made note of what I was going to say, but it's just thanking the people that helped with the event on Wednesday, last Wednesday. It went off, again, really well, and like she said, we had nearly 1,000 students there, which is, or not just students, but we had faculty and staff there as well. And that's great, because again, for those who did get the opportunity to go, he was a pretty engaging speaker, and he really kind of touches on a subject that needs to be touched on frequently. And he does it in a way that I think that students really were able to get something out of it. So I really do appreciate all the help that those who helped give. So, and my last point is a Bare Boots meeting. So Bare Boots on the Ground is a committee that's kind of, I would say it's ad hoc, but it's an unofficial committee of the university that essentially meets, and it's aimed at helping those who have been affected by a natural disaster. So an example is this previous semester, the Bare Boots Committee kind of organized a trip to Houston after the hurricane to kind of provide some relief. So this was roughly 100 students were able to go down, and they were tearing out sheetrock that was rotted, and just kind of getting in the mud and helping clean out some of these houses that were just completely destroyed by the natural disaster. So what's happening with that committee is that we're trying to actually establish more of a routine way of having either people in the community or people well outside of our community that are simply affected by natural disasters and need help. And this committee is hoping to be a way that we can kind of facilitate that help going out into the public. So it's kind of like a touch point between the university and the community. This it's similar to the big event, but with a completely different scope. So rather than just community service, it is primarily focused on individuals or families or cities, for that matter, that have been directly affected by natural disasters. So I've got a motion coming to new business here that's actually for a new initiative that that Bare Boots is focusing on. So hopefully we'll all be kind of putting some consideration into that, and then ultimately voting on that as well. So just know that there are people on campus who are trying to help those who've been hit by some hard times. So that's all I got.
Any questions for Vice President Platt? Okay, we will go into standing committee reports. Academic Affairs, Senator Edinburgh and Sarah.
So I just want to echo what Vice President Ricketts said. We have extended deadlines for 2 open positions on Senate, one of those being the College of Education representative. So if you know someone in the College of Education that would be a good fit for SGA, please encourage them to apply so that our Academic Affairs Committee is whole once again. And then a shout out to Senator Kilgrove, welcome. As the new College of Liberal Arts representative, she is also automatically a member of the Academic Affairs Committee, so we look forward to what you will bring to our committee and see what we can do this semester on SGA. My other shout out is for Senator Gomez. He reached out to Larry Lawrence about adding hydration stations onto the 3rd floor of the math building, and I'm happy to report that we got a follow-up that those have actually been implemented in place, so great job. As far as academic affairs goes, this semester our meetings will be Tuesday nights at 8:30. And we're going to really focus on some of the goals that we made at the SGA retreat last semester. So we want to focus on freshman career assessments, so we'll be reaching out to career services to see what we can do to take the next step with that, whatever that may be. We're going to work with Erica Gutierrez to see how our website matches up for non-English speaking students and any necessary improvements that we can make to fix that. And I've actually reached out to Erica, and she's extremely excited about working with us on that. We're also going to address issues with the UCA core. Many students have voiced concerns with how our core is structured and how it's set up. So our committee is going to undertake reaching out to the UCA core committee to see if there's anything that we as academic affairs can do to help with any of that. And that's all I have for tonight.
What questions do you guys have? None? Okay, awesome, thank you. Diversity, Senator Marbley.
Hello, everybody. So, okay, so we have our RSO Mixed Mingle coming up, and so what that means is we're all excited on the diversity committee. The RSO Mixed Mingle is me being to where we want like the heads of all different registered organizations to come out, have a good time, build new relationships with one another, safe, trusting environment, all that kind of good stuff. And just start, you know, so for future events and stuff, we'll all be kind of, you know, so that's scheduled for February the 8th, which is next Thursday at 6:00 p.m. and the students in the room 213. And that's it. And then so after we finish with the RSO Mixed Mingle, I know last semester you all heard a lot about the Mosaic program we were trying to do. However, we figured that the event coincided a whole lot with the UCA event, the Slice of UCA. So we're working with Ms. Jackson and the Office of Diversity and Community and we're trying to see what our part looks like with that. And our next set of events after the RSO Mixed Mingle would be, we're going to do a diversity week, which is like a 3-day row of events after spring break, the week after spring break, and we're going to highlight a whole lot of stuff, but this one, so stay excited for this. And we would just want to say welcome to Senator Gill to our committee. We look forward to working with you and we're very excited.
What questions do you guys have? Okay. Oh, Senator Martin, sorry.
Is speaking spirituality happening this year? I haven't heard it. I was just wondering if that was like something at all.
Yes, Senator Martin.
Yes.
Okay.
We talked about speaking spirituality last semester as a committee, and then I had a great meeting with Ms. Shar, and she opened our eyes to different areas of diversity as well. So as a committee, we'll talk about like if we want to focus on religion, or we want to kind of more focus on different areas of diversity to kind of meet different students. But something of that nature is different.
Okay, SFAC, Senator Burton.
So for those new senators that don't know, SFAC stands for Student Fee Advisory Committee. This is a committee that we've brought back, the executive have brought back, and I was elected chair of. It's essentially tasked with ensuring university officials that are in charge of departments partially funded by student fees use those fees appropriately. And what we're going to be doing is holding 5 fee hearings this semester. The departments that we're going to be assessing: health services fee, library fee, fine arts and performing fee, the hyper fee, and the technology fee. So actually, Mr. Hammond's over here in charge of the hyper. So we'll be sending out memorandums to each department later this semester, 2 to 3 weeks prior to the fee hearings, and then we'll hold those hearings. Those dates are not set in stone yet. There'll be probably a day of 2 and a day of 3. They're 30-minute hearings, 15 minutes of their presentation, 15 minutes of our committee's questions. What they're doing prior to the hearing is we've created a Google form that's going to have a 5-year budget history, an overview of the history of the fee, was there any student input when the fee was stated, some other different things. We're going to review that, we're going to ask them questions, and then we'll produce a report 2 to 3 weeks after the fee hearings are held that's publicly available to you all and to the campus community. So anything really related to fees, if a department wants to introduce a new fee, or if we're looking at editing a fee, we'll be producing resolutions or different types of pieces of legislation in our body to address those. Yes, I think that's all we have.
What questions do you guys have? Okay, we will go into goal committee reports, campus interactions, Senator Miller.
Hello. So we got 2 new senators onto Campus Interaction Committee. We were so excited. We had our first meeting right before Senate at 4 o'clock. So we'll be meeting every Monday at 4. I feel everyone to come drop by. We're a real fun time, so feel free to come see us. But this semester we're kind of rolling over some of our goals from last semester, so I'll just kind of briefly review those with y'all so that we all know. But one of our main things that we're working on is fall convocation for this upcoming fall of 2018. So that's a huge task and something that we worked a lot on last semester. This semester will kind of be refining, getting the nitty-gritty details nailed down, getting all the kinks ironed out. So we're incredibly excited about that. So yeah, that'll take a lot of our time and energy. But 2 other smaller goals that we have was more puppies for like puppy therapy. We're hopefully doing that for like the upcoming midterms of the spring semester. That's always a hit with students. So that's something that we definitely want to see more of. It relieves everyone's stress. So he does love dogs. Anyways, and then our third thing is our Get to Know Your Senators campaign that we partnered with the PR committee with. Senator Lavera sent an email last semester, and we will send another because the only senator that replied was the lovely Ashlyn Stock. So if you would please check your email. Basically, all she's going to ask you is just for a brief little like snippet of like who you are, where you're from, and why you're passionate about SGA. So that's just for us to be transparent with the students so they get to know your names and faces and who you're representing. So if you would just reply to that email chain just to Deborah and just answer that question really quickly, that would be very helpful for us. So, yes.
Okay, what questions do you guys have for Senator Miller? None? Okay, Housing and Food, Senator McGarity.
So we had our first meeting last Thursday at 8 a.m. and we'll be meeting this time every week, hopefully. It's a good time because Jim Neighbors is also free at this time, so he can come and speak with us. So he'll be at our meeting this Thursday. He'll also be at the Senate meeting. But I'm going to pass this around. It's just a little sheet. You guys could fill out any concerns you want us to bring up to neighbors. You can fill those out and talk about that on Thursday. So for this week, Senator Barnes is writing a resolution for the food service workers saying that we appreciate them. And then I found out over break that if you are a peer coach or a RA, basically you work for housing, you're required to stay on campus for a few days after the meal plan ends. So I know that international students, they have this program where they can get bagged lunches during fall break and things like that. So we wanted to see if we can get a program like that set up just for people with housing, having bagged lunches while they don't have access to a meal plan. And so this week, Senator Sierra is emailing Jim Neighbors to see what the bagged lunches include. And then he's also talking to housing students, RAs, and peer coaches have access to apartment meal plans. And then last semester, we were looking at trying to get reusable to-go boxes in the cafeterias. Right now, there's styrofoam boxes, and those really aren't very environmentally friendly. So we're going to try to do a survey through the food service to see if students want to have these reusable to-go boxes instead. And then this week, Senator Johnson is making survey questions. So we're going to try to have 3 surveys, so 3 different topics. One will be on the CAP hour shift, so students want to shift the CAP hours. One will be on if students want the CAP to be open during the tailgate. So right now, the CAP is closed during tailgates, but there's a booth set up with no food, but many students want to have one or the other if they want. And then we're also seeing if people would be willing to pay more for 24/7 desk service in residence halls.
Just to hit on something really quick, so Jim Neighbors will be here at our Senate meeting next week, so please gather feedback. Jim Neighbors is the head of Airmark for our campus, so he deals with everything food service. So he comes to our Senate meetings typically twice in a semester to kind of gather feedback and to give just a report on things that you guys brought up at the last Senate meeting. So please be sure to be asking your constituents and get a running list going and utilize the time that he's here to provide some good feedback. So, okay. Do you, what questions do you guys have for Senator McGarity? Any? No? Okay. Internal Affairs, Senator Morrison.
Hello. For all you new senators, our committee works on improving and editing the SGA governing documents. We meet Mondays at 3 p.m. in the Student Center Food Court, if you ever want to come. And right now we're currently finishing up working on the demerit policy, and we're expecting a previous notice with maybe next week, if not the week after that. So it's been a long time coming, and I know you're all so pumped.
What questions do you guys have for Senator Morrison? Yeah. Okay. Outreach, Senator Stockman.
Correct. For those of you that are new, my committee's kind of big charge this semester is our annual event day at the Capitol.
And it's basically a day where in the morning we get to go down to Little Rock and we get to go to the Capitol building and we get to lobby for kind of like a sustained 4-year public institution funding, or even an increase if we're feeling real like great about ourselves, but probably not. So in order to do that, we have to like kind of coordinate with the Secretary of State's office, and there's a lot of other people that are higher up than me that go into it. But we kind of had a little hiccup in our day. So last semester we had a day, it was nailed down, it was approved. Kelly and I was like, yeah. And then he emailed me January 17th and was like, just kidding. Somebody else is gonna kind of take that day instead. He was kind of vague about it, but I know it was out of his reach. So, new day for Day at the Capitol, everybody, is March 12th. Yes, that's a Monday. So you're going to get a full day of SGA. But that's fine, because we're going to brainstorm fun ways that we can maybe adjust Senate meeting to like reflect on what we did that morning if we all go. We're gonna make it fun. So please still plan on coming to that. But yeah, March 12th is our new day. So in situations with that, we have t-shirts design, we have Atu, she like has a budget kind of in line for us, and so we're gonna keep working on that and possibly use some of our cook money to help fund those. We're still not sure. And then we're gonna get our resolution rolling for what we're gonna read at the Day of the Capitol. Other SGAs are gonna have their resolutions, so we're gonna have one of those. And then we're also gonna get work sync signups in line for non-senator people so that we can possibly fill more spots and have more student representation at something that affects all of us as students. Then we have a few more smaller tasks that we're going to kind of focus on delegating as well. But that's kind of the big thing that I wanted to announce to everybody was that date change. So we're going to get our PR materials and stuff. So, oh, sorry. You pointed. I thought, I don't know. So that's like the big thing that we're trying to get taken care of for now.
What questions do you guys have? Senator Gilbert.
Point of information, what time does the Day at the Capitol event actually start on Monday?
We usually leave from Reynolds around 8 a.m.
8:30.
8:30 a.m. But yeah, tentatively around 8:30 a.m. And we'll be back around 1:32-ish.
Any others? No? Okay. Safety, Senator Raskin.
All right. We do not yet have a committee time set for this semester because I still need to figure out who's been added to mine. I didn't want to set that time without knowing who's on it. As for what we're working on this semester, basically at the end of the last semester, where we left off, we were in the early stages of looking at ADA standards for our buildings with regard to handicap accessibility and safety issues, stuff like that. And it's on me campaign, so we're going to just be diving right back into that this semester.
What questions do you guys have? No questions? Okay. We will go into university committee reports. Are there any university committee reports? Senator Bowman. Wait, what? Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Please forgive me. Sorry, guys. Student resources, Senator Ramirez.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all had a great winter break. Alrighty, so I'm really excited to have 3 new senators onto student resources. We're finally a ship ready to sail. Yeah, we're not just a ship, a cruise ship. So it's great. So last semester, finals breakfast week was a great success. Thank you to every senator that helped volunteer for the program. And earlier last week, Leslie Haynes and Central Management, and they want to create a program to get bear and central boxes on campus. And so it's a definite vision, and we're hoping to get that started. Leslie had just shared with me this morning that we're going to present this to the Board of Trustees on February 9th. Senator Burton is gathering deliverables to fill the implementation process of Disaster Sideshare, which is hopeful to launch March 26, 2018. And then wanting to work with library committee with Senator Tarka to be able to get the backgrounds changed for the RSOs and computer and advertisements. And then student resources and housing and food will be working together to see if we can get free printing for all like the dorms on campus. And then we have our new meeting times Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock. And Leslie Haynes has been invited to come and join us because we definitely want to get that on campus for sure. And then at the end of the Senate meeting, can Senator Waitsman meet me to talk about availability?
I'm so sorry. I missed it.
No worries.
What questions do you guys have for Senator Ramirez? Question, Senator Martin. Yes.
Only because I think it's appropriate here. Last semester, for those of you who are new, our body voted to allocate about, the number escapes me, but $12,000 to partner with the university and bring a dock-oriented bike share program to campus. That's through the company Zagster. If you're familiar at all with the Conway bike share program that's already existing, you've seen it downtown or anything like that, it's the little docks. We're in the process, Ryan and I, Vice President Pfaff and I have been in the process of gathering these deliverables. So it's essentially GPS coordinates. Really minute details for the implementation of this program. Target date of launch is March 26th of this year. Essentially, that's going to benefit students by running parallel with the COPA bike, the existing bike share program. It's going to provide the comfort of a bike for intra-campus travel and without the responsibility of owning a bike. So it's going to be really cool. More updates to come as we work on getting this process going. So, any questions? Just me or
Yes. Any others? No? Okay. Now we will go into university committee reports. Senator Barnes.
Hello. Last semester on December 5th, a very long time ago, Core Council met and we discussed the merger of some political science courses, but those decisions were moved until our semester, our meeting later this semester in February. And then we wrapped up the year by just like checking out what we did and everything like that, like making a review sort of. And then we also are like coming into this year assessing, assisting with the assessment committee, which is just kind of the extension of core council assessing aspects of the core. The next rubric I believe is communication, the communication aspect of the core, and that's what we're kind of focusing on. Assessing. That's it.
Oh, thank you. Any other university? Yes.
SBAC, which is the Strategic Budget Advisory Committee, met. This is a committee that kind of reviews the budget of the entire university. And one of the things that we're looking at for this coming semester is having proposals for one-time capital transfers. So this is going to be all of the heads of the departments on campus. So the easy way to think of it is the majority of the vice presidents, the executive staff will be making proposals for one-time transfers. And this is because last semester what we did is we looked at budget implementation transfers. So large expenses that will then become part of the base budget for the university. So these are exempt from being included inside the base budget, and they're just one-time year-end transfers. So that's kind of what this committee will be reviewing, and then we will then make proposals to the president and then the board of trustees. So that's what we talked about.
Any other university committee reports? Senator Tarka.
Okay, so last semester on December 14th, I filled in for Senator Ramirez at the undergraduate council report. And this is going to be long, so bear with me. Got a lot done in this meeting. We are going to start with the nursing program. I renamed and changed a bunch of the course numbers and to fit more easily with the prereqs what they're doing. To go along with their degree majors and a lot of stuff with the BSN nursing degree requirements changed, and they raised the GPA from 2.5 to 2.75 and lowered a couple hours. for nursing credit hours and direct hours. And then they added a bunch of new, a couple new classes with that as well. We talked about a new Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity degree program and a new just general studies degree program we both talked about and passed on. So the general studies degree is for like those people that change their majors and have a bunch of credit hours, like over 100, and it's just something that they can hopefully, don't know what it's gonna look like, but something they can go into, get a degree in, hopefully they'll get a job doing something important. Not too sure what that's gonna look like. And we renamed a couple world languages to linguistics. And we changed film appreciation where it's located in the core, moved it to diversity. If you have any questions, feel free to send me or Senator Ramirez.
Awesome, thank you. Any other university committee reports? Senator Sebastian.
So last week, the Service Learning Committee awarded a student for the Human Civic Fellowship Award, and we had
Can you speak up a little bit so they can hear over here?
Sorry. So last week, the Service Learning Committee awarded like a student for Human Civic Fellowship Award, and we had Morgan Swery.
Sweet.
Yeah, she was the last year's person, and she came to talk about like what she learned about it and who we should pick or who we should consider because we're looking at applications. And yeah, so we picked someone, and they're gonna represent UCA in the national conference.
Awesome. Senator Whitney.
Last week, the UCA Housing Exemption Committee meeting met, and so it was announced that Bethany Stoll, she's no longer in charge of the chair. It's Andy Isom, she had to leave. And so we look forward to meeting next month to discuss like any exemptions that come up. That's it.
Thank you. Any other university committee reports? Okay, so I kind of have one. So like I mentioned, I do meet with President Davis and the other 3 presidents every other week, and then the 4 of us, our advisors, meet with President Davis monthly. Get to spend a lot of time with President Davis. Great guy. So just a few kind of questions that I know some of you have. Donaghy Hall. So if you have not heard, Blue Sail has officially closed in Donaghy Hall. And so, and Mosaic. Mosaic was the first to close, and then Blue Sail followed. So they're they as an exec staff, they're brainstorming things to, what to do with that space. So if you have any suggestions, send them my way, and I will relay the message. So if you guys get any questions about Donaghy Hall, just feel free to let me know, and I'll give you guys more updates. As soon as I know, I'll try to update you guys ASAP. And then the biggest thing, so a lot of you may have heard that our Governor Hutchinson, asked all public 4-year institutions to follow a tuition freeze for this upcoming school year. So UCA will be following that. So we will be observing a tuition freeze, which means tuition for this upcoming school year will not go up. So if you have any questions from your constituents, feel free to pass that message along. And if you have any other direct questions with that, feel free to reach out to me and I can get you an answer on that. Yes, Senator Ettinger Lucero.
Could you share with Senate what the impacts of a tuition freeze look like for our campus?
Yes. So, a lot of the money that when there is a proposed increase in tuition, there are certain ongoing projects. So, for example, at the last board meeting, our Board of Trustees voted to approve a list of priorities, which included a possibility of a new health sciences building, Fine Arts Building, Greek Village Phase 2, and then there were several others in that priority list. So with the tuition freeze and there not being any money coming in, those projects unfortunately will kind of be at a standstill until we can get some more funding. More money includes more nicer things, and so that's some of the impacts that I have, that I know from that. So yes, did that answer your question? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Senator Locke.
So I know they're opening up Hughes Hall next year for the dorms. Are they still fixing the dorms? Or
Yes.
Are they, okay.
Yeah, so that was a good question. That was I don't understand a lot of the budget things. It is a completely separate thing. So the renovation for the residence halls will still be ongoing. It won't affect that. There just won't be any new buildings coming from the ground up soon. Yeah. Any other questions? Good questions. Okay. Any other university committee reports? No? Okay. We have no unfinished business, so we will move into new business. Vice President Bath.
All right. I move that in accordance with the Finance Committee, SGA allocate up to but not to exceed $5,000 to aid students attending the Spring 2018 New Orleans Bear Boots activity. All funds will be withdrawn from the reserve account.
Second.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded that in accordance with the Finance Committee, SGA allocate up to but not to exceed $5,000 to aid students attending the Spring 2018 New Orleans Bear Boots activity. All funds will be withdrawn from the reserve account. Discussion on the motion, Vice President Bath.
Awesome. So, like I said in my report earlier, we funded something similar to this last semester, and this is kind of our opportunity to kind of tap back into that opportunity again with our financial resources. So, what this money would specifically be going to is, I've got a flyer being passed around currently. Sorry, I don't have more. Requires a lot of purple ink, so just bear with me. Or there's two back there, sorry. But on there it states that there's a price included of $185, and that's the price that students would pay to go on this trip. It's a 5-night event, so you would leave, I believe it was either Friday or Saturday on that first weekend of spring break, and then you would get back Thursday of that week. So for 5 nights for $185, that is, while it does sound like a lot, it's actually not that expensive, all things considered, because aside from Sunday, that you will have all of your housing provided for, and you would have all of your meals. So Sunday you'd be responsible for your own food, but that's essentially the only other cost that you would have to have required for you. So what in this Bear Boots meeting, what we kind of discussed is how many students we see could actually feasibly attend this event, and kind of the factors that weigh into on why there may not be more or why there might be less. So what we kind of reached was that we think that we can fill a bus that would be 56 students that would be able to attend this event, and then along with that, we would hope that all of them would be willing to pay the fee. Now, because it's still $185, so it's nearing that $200 mark. We want to make it marketable for students. We want to make sure that we get that whole bus filled. And so what this money would be going to is to offset $85 worth of that fee, so that students would only have to pay $100 for that entire spring break. So they could go down, serve during the day, and then they would have the evenings to kind of tinker around New Orleans, whatever that may be. I believe the 85, and then it would be 85 times that 56 student mark, and I believe that gets you to $4,760. So that's just kind of allowing for maybe the possibility of tax or anything additional. So that's what I got.
Any other discussion on the motion? Senator Lyons.
I just want to rise in support of this because this is a great opportunity for us to show our appreciation for the students that want to serve and kind of do publicity for ourselves, but also publicity for this organization, which is an incredible aspect of UCA. And the more trips we find, the more trips they can go on, and the more we give to them and give to our students, the more people are aware of this opportunity.
Any Any other discussion on the motion? Okay. It has been moved and seconded that in accordance with the Finance Committee, SGA allocate up to, but not to exceed $5,000 to aid students attending the spring 2018 New Orleans Bear Boobs activity. All funds will be withdrawn from the reserve account. Roll call vote.
Abbott?
Yes.
Askew?
Yes.
Audrus? Volley?
Yes.
Barnes?
Yes.
Berkla?
Yes.
Burton?
Yes.
Kale?
Yes.
DePersia?
Yes.
Eddinger Lucero?
Yes.
Gilbert?
Yes.
Gomez?
Yes.
Maria Gomez?
Yes.
Greider? Hawkins? Johnson? Kilgrove?
Yes.
Blockings?
Yes.
Lavera?
Yes.
Mason?
Yes.
Marbley? I vote yes. McGarity? Miller?
Yes.
Morrison?
Yes.
Osile?
Yes.
Bath?
Yes.
Ramirez?
Yes.
Riggins?
Yes.
Sander? Sebastian? Sierra?
Yes.
Slager? Stock?
Yes.
Tarka?
Yes.
Teeter?
Yes.
Vic? Waitsman?
Yes.
Whitby?
Yes.
Willie?
With 35 yeses, 0 noes, and 0 abstentions, the motion passes. Is there any other new business? Okay, we will move into announcements. Ask you.
All right, I just wanted to,
No.
I just wanted to mention to y'all about Bear Patrol applications. So we opened up Bear Patrol applications earlier this semester, and the fact of the matter is we just didn't have enough applicants to even have Bear Patrol operate. So we had to reopen them, and they're going to close on Friday at 4 p.m. So I just really wanted to encourage you all to apply. And I'm just going to make the same, spiel to y'all that I've made to some people already. Me and the rest of the executive board, we did the math. Basically, we work 6 hours a night, 5 days a week. That's 30 hours a week. So we try to split that time commitment up evenly among the members in a way so that there are always 2 members on shift at a time. If every single one of y'all in this room signed up, I can personally guarantee you that your commitment to this organization per week would not exceed an hour. So it'd be a very minimal time commitment for a very good cause, and also it's a really good way to rack up some serious volunteer hours. So please sign up.
Vice President. Oh, yes.
So point of information on that, like what kind of feasibility would you have for us to set which days we could work?
That's a good question. So the way that we operated that last semester is that we submit a timesheet. You get to sign up for your own shifts, schedule them yourself. So say if it were March 1st, I would send out a timesheet for the entire month of April. So we always set out the timesheet a month in advance so that you can look at your calendar if you want. If you're that kind of person who likes to plan ahead, you can look at your calendar for the entire month of April and say, okay, these are the shifts I want to work each week of the month of April. So you get to schedule yourself, and it's just first come, first serve. So just make sure you get to the timesheet first.
Did that answer your question? Okay. And just for further clarification, point of information is only during discussion. So if you have a question, just feel free to raise your hand and wait until I call on you to ask. Yeah, no problem. Vice President McAfee?
Oh, sorry. Big event applications are open. I don't know if anyone else is going to announce it, but if anyone's not aware, Big Event was originally started within SGA, and then we let our birdie fly from the nest, and now it's its own organization and really, really doing well. It's a day of service for UCA students, faculty, staff to all come together and serve the outer community further than just UCA. So please sign up. It's one of my favorite things. I'll be a team leader again, so maybe you'll be on my team.
Dr. T?
All right, so for new people, those of you who are wondering who the 3 of us are sitting back here, that's Hank Phelps.
This is Charlotte Strickland, and I'm Dr. Richard Tarka. We're advisors. One of my specific responsibilities is to make sure that everybody in this room meets all of the criteria necessary for that position. And they vary by position, but universally, everybody has to have a minimum 2.5 grade point average. So what I want to do is I want to give a shout out to all the returners for doing all the work that's necessary to be on student government and still maintain the grades. So congratulations to all of you. I was very impressed looking at the grades. I was very impressed.
Yes, I'm so sorry. So these are wonderful advisors. So senators, your committee chairs will hold you accountable. Exec board will hold the committee chairs accountable. And these three right here keep us sane. So they do a lot of work. And if you guys ever need anything, they're always there as well. So they're a good resource to utilize. Okay, Vice President Ernst.
Senior class, let's pick a new vice president. Please stay. That's so important. Okay. Gotcha. Senator Teeter.
All right. So ROTC is holding a 5K. We're looking for sponsors, and we're also looking for runners. So if you'd like to participate, you'll see myself or Senator Grider. I'd love to set you up. So that's all I got.
Team Bucket.
I mean, if you want to, but I mean, you gotta take it. Zach straight? Yeah.
Hey. Senator Gilbert.
So my little sister is selling Girl Scout cookies. So if anyone wants to buy Girl Scout cookies, and where to find it, and I'll hook you up with that.
Yes. Oh, Pops.
Kind of update on or a little bit of information about the voting situation. Mr. Williams and President Davis have asked me to respond to the county clerk, and it's her job is working with the election commission and doing what basically they tell her to do. So I talked to her on the phone, and she gave me a list of 3 or 4 things, and so I have responded. These were 3 or 4 things, complaints basically they had about us, and so I have responded to those things. And now in the letter, that letter is kind of being looked at by some other folks, because I made some promises. I want to make sure that the university can do those promises. And so as soon as I get that letter back, which I probably will tomorrow, hopefully, it's my intention to go down and personally deliver it to her and hopefully kind of reemphasize our commitment to keep UCA as a public education. And she's pretty optimistic, I thought, on the phone, so hopefully we can make something happen.
So aside from being advisors, he goes by Pops, Hank Phelps. He's the director of the Student Center and the Miss Chavez University Training. And Dr. Targa, he goes by Dr. T. He is a professor in the chemistry department. So aside from being advisors and being here with us, they do a lot. Yeah, they have a lot. Okay, any other announcements? Okay, I have 2 quick, oh, no. You can go ahead, Mr. Hammond.
All right. I was asked to give an update on what the climbing tread wall is and what it's and where it's located and stuff. Obviously, the tread wall is up and running, so everything's functioning on that. So if you feel like going by and trying that, feel free to do that. It's pretty simple. It's a gravity-fed belt. It's not motorized. So based on the tension that you put on the belt is how fast the thing will rotate around as you climb it. So obviously, if you're lighter, you got to put less tension on it so it will turn. If you're heavier, you probably want to put more tension so it won't turn too fast for you, based on your climbing skills, your ability, and what you want to do for the exercise that you're trying to do on it. It can have different angles. You can angle it so it's kind of like you're going up a hill a little bit. You can do it so you're flat, or you can do it so you actually invert it so you're kind of doing a little more work on some other parts of your body to be able to do that type with it. So that's what you can do with the tread wall that y'all supported. I'm in the process of working with a sign company to try to get sponsored by SGA put on there somewhere, trying to find the avenue of where I can put it and how it can be on there. Some point in time that will happen and occur hopefully soon. I sent her pictures and stuff. She ain't sent back to me where she thought it would fit or how we can put it on there, but we'll do something like that on that. If you have any questions or anything about that, feel free to ask us and we'll move forward with that.
Mr. Hammond, do you mind just giving a quick introduction to who you are?
No, I sure don't. My name is Richard Hammond. I am the Director of Campus Recreation. I'm very supportive of SGA because that's, I think we're here for the students, and all my fees pretty much come from the student fees that we collect, and I will be speaking with Spencer about it later on. With that being said, so I'm here to support y'all and do as much as I can to help y'all. If you have things that you think we need to do as a department, feel free to contact me, and I will see what avenues we can and kind of move forward to try to get that going in the right direction. And there's some stuff that's going on behind scenes. I don't think I can talk about some things we're trying to do yet until it's actually more approved, but there's a couple hopefully new things that might come up in the next semester or so that'd be neat for us.
Yes, and so this is kind of a direct correlation to what Vice President Pfaff was talking about earlier. SGA allocated the money to fund this tread wall to go in the hyper. So any idea, obviously can come to life. So, and Mr. Hammond is not required to be here. He volunteers to come to our Senate meetings and has been coming pretty much the day he started. So I just want to give a round of applause to you. Thank you for being here and for your update. Okay, I have two things. Flu season, it has been going around like crazy. Please make sure you're taking care of yourselves. The count went from like 20 to 50 within a week. So, and some people are getting both strands. So make sure, yes, those poor people, make sure that you are taking care of yourselves, staying hydrated, washing your hands, all that good stuff. Next, surprise. So, 2 lucky chairs in this room have a sticky note under them. And if you do, you get a free t-shirt. So look under your chair. It'll be right towards the beginning, or like the front. There we go, there's one. So, notice I was very vague. So, if you have an empty chair next to you, you're lucky, and you have a second shot to see if that chair has a sticky note. Okay, awesome. So, both of you guys come up to me after Senate meeting, and you'll get a free Bare Boots on the Ground shirt. Woo! Fancy gear. Okay, just want to do something a little exciting. Okay, any other announcements? No? Okay, meeting adjourned. You have to what?
I have something to tell you.
Okay.
Just stare at me. And I'm scared. You hate me. I've never used whatever again. It's just an accident. I have a lot going on. If I do miss it, then you can't yell ever. Because I promised you now that I'm not going to miss one. But usually I say, like, I think I do. Senior? I know.
Just like,
They're just so lucky.